Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with What's a Rolfie, Unky, Fireman 1231, JDB Cubed, and Fireman Freddy. Let's get to the show.
Welcome back to the Cool Fireman Podcast. We today have Nicholas. What's up, Nick?
Hey!
Nick is here. We got Doug and Fireman Freddy, but we also have a very special guest, as promised. We have talked in previous podcasts about wanting to give back to everybody, but for now, we have chosen a foundation, the First Responders Children's Foundation, and we have Jillian Crane, who's the president CEO of the First Responders Children's Foundation. We are super excited to have her here. And Jillian, we're excited to hear about what you guys are doing for these for the children of first responders like us. We all have kids, yes, in this room, and so it's near and dear to our heart. And we, first of all, want to say thank you for everything that you're doing for, potentially for our children. So we're very excited to be here with you and figure out, everything that you guys are doing. As the Cool Fireman Podcast goes, we'd like to start with a moment of silence just for those first responders that have lost their lives, given the ultimate sacrifice in the past week. Okay. Thank you for that. And with that, Miss Jillian, how are you today?
Matt, thank you. I'm great, and I'm delighted to be here to meet you guys and be on this fabulous podcast.
Very good. Yeah. So, we've talked about you guys, and we've been to your website, and just off air, you started kind of spitting things that you're doing for people in our different areas. Or, I'm in California, and we've got North Carolina, Virginia, and Michigan, and so we're kind of excited just to kind of hear from you on, the type of programs that you set up for the kids, or do you give money? I heard you talk about bereavement for families and trying to deal with crises, but just maybe an overview. I'm sure we could probably spend 4 or 5 hours on what you guys are doing for us as first responders, but maybe just a brief overview of what you guys are doing.
Thank you. I'd love to give you a brief overview, but first of all, I will say thank you very much for the service that you give to your communities and everything that you do. And we do look at the first responder children and spouse and family as first responder. The sacrifice isn't just the first responder; it's the entire family, and so that is why we really recognize the children of first responders. And just to give you a little background on us, we started 22 years ago. It's our 22nd year, and we started as a response to the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center on the morning of September 11th. 800 children lost a first responder parent. And so that was the beginning of the formation of this foundation, which's mission was twofold, was to support children of first responders, but also to support agencies, first responder agencies around the country, to go into their communities and create positive relationships and build trust in the communities they serve. So those are the two missions, missions of the foundation. And that led us to our programming, which I just want to tell you about because it's available to you now and your families. One program we have is our scholarship program, which includes trade school, includes university, a graduate school. And it's for all children of first responders around the country, which police, fire, paramedics, EMTs, and we include 911 dispatchers now in that definition. We know that 911 dispatchers really, are the glue and hold everybody together in small communities and large. So we recognize that. And so there's scholarships and there is bereavement support. If God forbid the unthinkable happens, we provide, we get the notifications every day around the country. And if there are children in the family, we provide a bereavement grant right away. We also have financial hardship grants, which really are, they could be anything to child care, to utilities, issues of, we have 65% in this country of firefighters, which include EMS, are volunteer. So a lot of those firefighters, may have issues. They lose their job, they can't work, other things come up. So we have financial hardship grants. We launched a mental health program last year specifically for children of first responders, which provide short-term counseling for children. It's confidential. It's free. It's trauma-based counseling and culturally competent counseling. So this is only, we started in 6 states and we're looking to do it all over the country. So obviously we're looking for support there, but we're looking to help where we're needed. And we have some disaster relief that just started, which is specifically for the first responder families when first responders are running into hurricanes and fires and, other natural disasters. We're here for their families. And then the other part of this is, I think we spoke about this a little bit, this community engagement part. So if you guys are planning a junior first responders camp, a cadet camp, any kind of thing like that, we support those programs. And then we have a Toy Express every year where we're in cities, we're in 700 cities with toys that we send to agencies. They go out to their underserved areas or the areas that need a little joy during the holidays. So we'd love to work with you and anyone who's listening to this podcast.
Man, the junior, what did you call the junior cadet?
Junior first responder camp, though. We think kids should know real heroes in their communities, not just the ones they see on the screen in the movies, but actual people running into danger for them. And also, I'm sure we need to develop another generation of first responders.
Yeah.
So if we teach them about what you do, maybe they're gonna answer the 911 call one day for all of us.
Yeah.
And so we support those. So if you're in your areas, California, did you say North Carolina, Michigan, Virginia? We want to support you there. So I will later in the podcast tell you our numbers in the areas you are, what we're doing to support. But in the meantime, our scholarship application deadline is the 31st of May. So if anyone hearing this call or you guys on the call, just to fill out the application so we can get it in and hopefully we'll be able to help your kids.
Yeah.
Reach their full potential. That's
one of the cool things that we get to do, or, in my neck of the woods. In fact, just yesterday, I just got off this morning off shift, but yesterday we had a local elementary school come through and they do a big I don't want to call it dog and pony show through the city, but they kind of learned a little bit of the finance and the economy of the whole city. But in with that, they go to the police department and then they come to the fire department. We always have so much fun with these kids. And this, the question and the curiosity and the just complete utter, chaos really, but they have a lot of fun. They run through the fire engine, firehouse and all kinds of good stuff. So I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind for sure to reach out to you guys. Cause I would love to try to set up something for the kids and a little thing like that in our city would be awesome. So I'm going to keep that in mind.
Please do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in Lancaster. We do that. Well, there's a fishing camp with police in Gloucester. They take the kids fishing. In Lancaster, like Amish country, they have this fire police. The kids come out. They actually learn STEM activities. They build something which was really kind of complex, and then they see if it'll stand up to wind.
Oh wow!
And they put fire out. They do all this stuff. It's really it's a great thing to show kids what you guys do. It's really important.
Yeah. I know we got a couple more questions. We definitely got questions for you. I just wanted to say one more thing. I've seen a common theme here with our podcast is we've had, a few guests on now. We've only been doing this as I think maybe our 22nd episode, but we've had a couple of guests on, and you're the second person to bring up that 9/11 really inspired them. And to be honest with you, when you say September 11th, 2001, it's you get goosebumps. You know what I mean? And so just that and alone just knows that it just inspires people to do great things. And then the other thing is you bring up mental health. And I swear, I promise every episode almost of our podcast, somehow, some way, mental health comes into it. It's just like brings it full circle as to how important it is in our line of work. And that's like what we're pushing and trying to, that's one of the areas where we're really trying to help first responders and trying to, recognize those issues and stuff.
I just want to commend you for that because I know first responders, the last thing they ever want to do, fire, police, whoever you are, you don't want to ask for help. You're here to help, right? But the thing is, you have to ask for help. And you as leaders, and personalities and public figures now with your podcast, if you let people know that it's okay, they're going to be okay about their children getting help. Trauma is transferred. You guys see so many things. You're serving, you're dealing with a lot of, hard things. And, I think they say, a regular person faces like 3 or 4 really, really tragic events in their life. Well, a first responder faces like 10 a month. So you're constantly, trying to organize that in your being. And I really feel, I strongly that we saw during COVID and after, suicide rates are up. There are lots of issues around, and we just want to talk about it, take the stigma away, know that, you strong, powerful first, firefighters, it's okay to ask for support. It's okay to know that you're not okay all the time. And so I'm glad. I'm not happy to hear it, but I'm touched that you are addressing this on your podcast.
Yeah, and you're just another foundation that's helping the cause. We had Lieutenant Kenny Mitchell on. He's talking about Operation Yellow Tape and what he's doing to help first responders, and so it's just been awesome. It's been great.
And I'll say about 9/11. First responders came from all over the country after 9/11 to New York. I'm sure there are many people who helped at Ground Zero for the recovery, who now are dealing with 9/11 related illness, or just had the experience of coming to help in New York. So we know that it's not just a New York thing; it's a nationwide experience.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Jillian, Doug here. Obviously, we spoke on the phone previously, but I just want to say I love your hair. It's very Carrie Bradshaw. Very, very, very Sex in the City look. I love it. Second, you mentioned you get notified when things happen. How does that work? So do you guys work with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation or something, or how do you get notified when these traumatic events happen to a first responder and know when to intervene with your resources?
That's a great question, but I have to go back to the Carrie Bradshaw of it all just for 1 second. My former life was as an actress, actually, and I worked with Matthew Broderick.
Wow.
In a movie that was shot in Omaha, Nebraska. And Sarah Jessica Parker came to visit Matthew on the set. And so she's tiny and has my hair, and I'm much bigger. And so Matthew was like, it's like looking at a bigger version of my wife. So I will take that as a compliment.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. You should. No, absolutely.
So that's that's not the serious part. But the serious answer to your question is we have a former police chief on our staff, and we are in touch through him and now all of our relationships with the National Associations of Police Chiefs and Fire Chiefs. And so we get notified through that process. Also, we're on a firefighters on a list, so we can find out around fire, what's happening on a daily basis. And then we just count on the people that we meet because we oftentimes don't see absolutely everything, but we do get a lot of notifications. So we get them every morning basically. And if there's a child, we reach out, we just reach out. And as you know, funding doesn't come right away. Sometimes it hasn't been determined a line of duty death, or, they had a heart attack in their sleep after a shift or on a basketball court, or, God forbid, some other suicide or something else. We step in immediately with a grant and just help, the families that are before they have the resources. Sometimes the insurance ends at midnight, all those things happen, and we just try to step in.
Before all that red tape has to get cut.
Right.
Yeah.
Could take 6 months, could take a year, it really depends.
Yeah.
So
please, yeah.
So, hey, it's Jillian, it's Freddie. What made you choose, I guess, did you start the foundation yourself? Did you join it after it had already gone in? And and this is going to be a weird question, I guess, but what made you choose to focus on, I guess, the children of first responders versus, just the first responders or what have you? What is it that the First Responder Children's Foundation felt like, we're going right, we're going to do it for the children, I guess?
You guys ask great questions. No wonder your podcast is going to be successful right now. I'm very, that's a great question. So I did not found this organization, but it was founded by someone named Alfred Kahn. And Al Kahn was in the children's business, licensing, entertainment, probably all the toys that you guys played with as kids and that your children play with. He's responsible for them in some way or other. Nintendo, for example, he brought out of Japan to the West. Anime that no one had seen before. Cabbage Patch dolls.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you played with those, but someone did. on and on. Relaunched Ninja Turtles. The biggest one is, I'll tell you later. I'm going to hold that for later. But
There you go.
his father died when he was 13 on Christmas. I think what he saw on 9/11 was, oh my God, what's going to happen to these children around the holidays? And he really, that just triggered him to do something for the children. And it was just like, what can we do for the first responders' children? I'll say I joined the board 9 years ago, and I was a board member for many years. And what I saw is that there are many foundations in every city that work with your local fire and police. What I thought would be our point of difference is if we focus on the children and really be clear in our programming that we're here for the families. I think that we found the niche that is not always focused on. So we didn't want to compete with everybody else, but also we realized children are the future. You know, you could do anything in life, but art and children are going to save the world. So I think that's why we focused. And so when we think about programs, how do we serve the first responder community? Well, if you know your children, you said your parents, all of you, if you know your children are going to be taken care of, or they're going to have programming, so they're going to have opportunities, you're just going to feel better. You're going to be more able to do your job. And so that's really what our mission is. And that's why it started. But he is the person, Alcon really created it out of the goodness of his heart and funded it for the first couple of years and made it a national foundation. And then over time, it's just grown and grown.
That's awesome.
Nick, I want to say I love your background.
What's up there, Nick? What?
Nick wears a sweater all year round. I mean, look at that. Yeah.
Welcome to a firefighters podcast, Jillian.
What a specimen.
What you get.
You guys don't get me started. I can show you some photos, but we'll get in trouble. So I don't know.
What a specimen.
I spent COVID literally going to every bakery in New York City and buying bread and croissants. So now I'm getting a little bit back to my normal self, but boy, there was a moment there when it was a touch and go.
Yeah, we all feel that one.
Yeah.
Nick, you got a question?
No, I don't have a quick. You pretty much answered everything that I had thoughts about. I think you probably already said this, but I think my question was, how does someone get in touch with you? Get in touch with you if they know somebody or they're asking for help themselves.
It's a great question too. Thank you for asking that question. Yes. One, you guys can call me anytime here. But two, we have a website. It's the it's First Responders Children's Foundation, but it's the number 1 strcf.org. But if you just look up First Responders Children's Foundation on anything on the web on the interwebs, you'll see us. But the number 1 strcf.org. You can go in and you can reach out there's a bereavement grant request. You can fill out the form. There's scholarship, financial hardship. You can send me an email or go onto the website. And if you want to get involved with what we're doing, support what we're doing, or a first responder who needs help, just fill out the application. We answer them right away. We have a grant committee on standby for the bereavement support. And we have a program team that really looks through all of these things. So we're able to really, like I was saying, I mean, in California, I just had to ask because I always wonder where we are. But in California, we have already 44 scholarship recipients, and we've given out almost $100,000 in emergency hardship grants, bereavement services. We've been in 15 agencies in California with our Toy Express. Virginia, we have 10 first responder agencies, and with our Toy Express, we've given out 14 scholarships, 4 first responder camps in Virginia, 139 recipients of emergency hardship grants, and sadly 2 families for bereavement in Virginia. And where else do I have? Michigan. I have Michigan. Yeah. Where's Michigan? Who's from Michigan? You? Oh, yeah, Matt.
Fred.
Yeah, Freddie. Okay.
Yeah.
Michigan. Here we go. 25 scholarship recipients in Michigan. 445 grants were awarded for emergency hardship individual grants under $362,000. And from 2020 to 2022, $62,000 in bereavement support in Michigan.
Wow. What about North Carolina?
So I didn't know we were going to have somebody in North Carolina on this call. I feel terrible about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Neither did we.
I will make sure I get those numbers to you.
I do want to say that you said, I think it was 4 or 14 camps here in Virginia that you had done.
Here for a second.
I think it was 4.
14
14. It was
scholarships.
no, the kid camp.
Oh, the kid camps. Wait. Community engagement. 4. You're correct.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I would be happy to help with that in the future if need be. I'd be more than willing to give my time up for that.
That's great. So let's
Just
find out
FYI.
where they are and where are you located in
My department is
specifically,
in
what's the name of
Central
it?
Virginia, right outside of Richmond. Just Richmond's close enough.
Okay, Richmond. Okay. Yeah, do you know if they have a first responder camp or anything going on there?
I don't off the top of my head, no.
All right, well we'll find out. We'd love to have you help us do that.
Absolutely. And I want to be in contact too. I said that before. I think that's a great idea. So,
Yeah, for sure.
Because kids would just go wild, with first responder stuff, fire, police. We have, in where I work, we have our own lifeguard department, and so we work, together on, they make way more contacts with patients than even we do, especially during the summertime. I mean, there's 100,000 people in our small city,
Wow.
in one day during the summertime, and so we work hand in hand with them. But so the kids, they have this really old kind of like Baywatchy style Jeep that they drive around. It says, has the city name on it and lifeguards, and they have like a little, one of those big, I don't even know, paddleboard and stuff on top of it. It's pretty cool. So the kids are.
So they're lifeguards, and you have paramedics and the EMTs and everybody, right?
Yeah. So our paramedics, I'm a paramedic. All our paramedics are firefighters in the county that I work in. And so anytime a paramedic shows up to your house in Orange County, they're a firefighter. That's just how it is working.
Isn't that amazing? It's so great. Paramedics, so needed. Unsung heroes, the paramedics around.
Yeah, we sort of do like a dual function type deal.
Yeah.
But as we were talking, like there's one program that we use not super often, but it's a huge resource for us. It's called TIP. I don't know if you've ever heard of TIP, trauma intervention program. And so anytime that we have, a death in the family or a really bad car accident where people are super shooken up, we can bring these people in. They're all volunteer. They're absolutely amazing. It's an amazing program that they run. It's all volunteers. And, they literally take turns being dispatched. So if something goes out in a certain part of the county, they dispatch these volunteers and they're there within 15, 20 minutes. It doesn't matter where you're at in our county.
Wow.
And so, that's like.
So is that a program that's funded, or how does that?
I don't know how, I don't know how they're funded. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but that is a really good question. But I just you sitting here talking about how you're helping people, and this is just something that we see, that makes a direct impact on a family, on the scene within 5 minutes of us.
That's amazing. And that should be around the country. That's like the gold standard of what a community should do, what first responders should do, that you're part of that. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
how did you guys all meet? You're all from different places.
That's a great question. I love that.
Very good question.
We love that question because we love the answer.
We do.
So
I know there's going to be something good, and Nick's a part of it. That's all I got to say. I know something's up here.
Somebody actually asked me this question the other day, and it started with I guess me reaching out to Nick on TikTok about some stuff, and I made a couple of videos talking about him or whatever, and then I got his phone number. We text back and forth, and I made a joke about coming to his wedding a couple of years ago, and he said, "What's your address?" He sent me an invite. All right, man, I'm coming. No, whatever, it is what it is, So apparently, I was the only person, according to him, that he talked to on TikTok that showed up to the wedding, and we just became great friends. Have been ever since. Freddie got involved. It was great. He got a lot of beer. But Nick
looks very upset. He's like, "Oh, what's he gonna say about the wedding?"
I was invited. I was actually on shift during the wedding. Couldn't get off, and I'm never gonna live it down. I'm never living it down with Nick.
You know what? I want to honor you for staying on your shift, and but I know Nick's upset. He looks very upset that you missed it. You're gonna have to renew your vows, Nick, so I can come.
He came down last August, was it?
Yeah, I surprised him.
Yeah, that was
So Freddie and Nick have obviously they have the cooking connection, and Unky as well. They got that connection, and Freddie and Nick had the cooking thing going, so they decided to meet. Well, Nick's wife, Clarissa, awesome person, messaged me and said, or text me and said, "Hey, Doug, Freddie's going to come down and surprise Nick. Do you want to come too?" I was like, yeah. So Freddie showed up one day. I showed up the next day, completely surprised Nick. So at that day, when I met Freddie finally, I started a little group chat, and I just called it the Cool Fireman. The Cool Fireman
Club.
or
It was
something,
a
whatever it
club.
was. And we met Matt through TikTok as well and added him to the text group. And then Unky got added to the text group, and it just turned into, hey, man, we should do a podcast. Well, what are we going to call it? The Cool Fireman. So it just started with it. That's what I named the group chat, and that's what it turned into. So we all met through social media, and
What
I
were
met-
you
it was
doing on TikTok? What were you doing on TikTok that got everyone's attention? Were you dancing?
No,
Were you
God, no, I don't-
cooking? What
no.
were you doing?
no,
It's like,
Nick was the first guy I
Matt,
ever
were you-
saw
yeah, go ahead.
in the fire station that did cooking and was promoting the idea of cooking and bringing the firehouse cooking and the recipes and stuff that we do at the fire station into the everybody else's house. So I just kind of replied to him a few times in reference to cooking. I would try to keep up with him because he's a much better cook than I am. But that's what I did. That's how I met him.
Okay, so you need to do the Cool Fireman's Cookbook next.
It's on the back burner.
Okay, that's a marketing.
Yeah, it's been
winner.
talked about.
Okay,
Yeah, it's been
excellent.
talked
Okay.
about.
All right, what else? Yeah, who
Ju-
else?
I mean,
Matt, you gonna say
just-
something? What is it?
Just to get what you see here right now, Jillian, together on the same day in the same hour is like aligning if the 5 moons that we, of the universe or whatever. I don't even know what to say because, all of us are on shift. And so we're on different shifts. I think Unky and Doug even actually are on the same shift, but different departments. It's crazy. So we have our text thread. We all text every day. I can't believe how we've come together as friends, but like Doug said, it happened really on TikTok. And Nick actually commented on a video of mine. I did beer can chicken video on TikTok.
I had beer can chicken. It's delicious.
Right?
Not yours. I haven't had yours. I want to have yours, but
All right.
okay.
One day. So anyway, I
still watch that
responded.
video, Matt.
What?
I still go back and watch it sometimes.
Yeah, and I responded in my fashion, and he said, "Did we just become best friends?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And so then they let me into the circle, and then this started, and we literally the 5 of us text every single day, every single
Well,
day.
I'm really honored to have to meet you and then be like part of your, just for a little while, be part of your group. So I kind of feel like I want to be on the texting. Can you,
Right?
Yeah, what?
You're
I'll
in.
send you photos of New York City. Then and bad hair days. I'll send you my bad hair photos if you want.
I think what it comes down to is that good people just socialize with good people, and
They
that's
tend to flock to each other.
yeah, that's all it comes down to. Is the good people hang out with good people.
Yeah.
So before we get into the fun part of this, Jillian, I have
This was already.
Oh,
fun.
hold on. She's got to give me the last thing about Al.
About
Yeah,
what?
What? Oh,
No, you said you helped.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my God, you guys are amazing. God.
I'm curious. You had me a
God,
Nintendo.
I had you a Nintendo. Okay. What's the toy? Okay, what's the thing that you
Pet rock.
What's your
Oh.
That was good. Actually, he's partnering with the guys that did the pet rock. Okay, but what's the thing that's one of the what are your kids like? What's the biggest thing?
Oh, video
Xbox.
games.
I've got old kids.
Video games? Oh, they're little kids. It's okay.
No, I've got old.
What's the thing?
They've got
your
little
older, your older kids. What were they
Yeah.
into?
Legos.
My son liked Skylanders. There's a little video
Okay.
game thing where that was his big deal.
Okay. Do you guys remember anything? So it came out of Japan. It was called Pocket Monster and was turned into something called Pokemon.
Oh
my
wow!
God.
No way. Yes, he still does. He still does that.
Pokemon. So Alcon went to Japan, saw this reading game, card game, and he said Nintendo had it. And he said, I want to bring that out of Japan. And they said, oh, Americans and Westerner kids, they don't read. They're not smart enough for this, right? They're just like, no, they're not going to like this.
Right.
And Al said, I think they're going to like it. I want to take this license and go outside of Japan everywhere to the West. And so he did change the name, got a catch 'em all, positioning line. He doesn't have it anymore, but it's the number one licensed, brand in the world.
For sure.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, Pikachu was on the cover of Time magazine that year, and
Wow.
that was Al Kahn. If you look him up, you'll see he's like in the licensing Hall of Fame.
My goodness.
So you got to meet him. So you can talk about all your crazy games that you guys.
Oh,
like.
I'd love to.
So
Not a super tangent, but I gotta interject. Sorry, Fred. Have you seen the movie Tetris yet?
Yes.
Mm.
And first of all, do you play Tetris?
I
I
mean,
did. I played a lot when I was a kid.
when I had the Game Boy,
yeah, when I had
So-
the Game Boy, yeah.
So at the Game Boy, right? So Al knew all those guys. He knew the whole story. Tetris was made in Russia. The game guy that created Tetris was in the Soviet Union, which is so amazing because, talk about they don't understand anything about licensing. So everybody stole the licenses, right? And pretended they owned them.
Mhm.
And then they went Gorbachev was, the head of the Soviet Union, and it's a great movie. And that's inspired Al to maybe do something with Pokemon the movie because there was a lot of back channeling crazy stuff that went on with Japan and Nintendo and Al. So
Yeah.
Nice.
that's so
Sorry
funny.
for
Good.
that.
Yeah, Tetris.
No, you're
great
good.
movie. I love it.
we're doing it. We're having fun. We're chilling. This is
I'm very
nice.
surprised that Nintendo's stayed as relevant as they have, to be honest with you, because
Yeah.
with PlayStation coming and Xbox now, I mean, they're the main two consoles, but I mean, they just put out that Super Mario Brothers movie and it broke huge records. And it was like
Yeah.
a billion.
Al
dollars.
did Super Mario Brothers and
Oh
Yu-Gi-Oh.
my gosh. Wow.
He's a legend.
He's a legend. Look him up.
Wow.
He's a legend.
Great.
Yeah.
I will for sure.
Well, then full
You guys should have
disclosure.
interviewed him. Actually, I'm way less interesting than he is, but I just
No
feel
way.
a coat.
So
No
full
way.
disclosure, I have a small confession. When you said that you were in a movie, we have the power of everything at our fingertips.
Oh no.
I went on to IMDb real quick, and I found that you have a pretty extensive little resume there. That movie
Freddie,
that
you're
you did with-
dangerous. You are you.
the movie you did with Matthew Broderick. Probably gonna have to look it up. I'll go watch it. But the cool thing that I found is your birthday.
It's not the same as yours.
It's the same as mine.
Shut up.
Oh,
November 23rd.
add a
Oh,
white
wow.
text thread immediately.
World.
Yeah. I know.
Okay. You're Freddie. Here's what I'm going to do for you. You and I have the same birthday. You have to come to New York for our big event on Thanksgiving morning so we can celebrate because our birthdays are right around Thanksgiving.
Always.
So I don't know who your family. Do you have kids? Are they young kids?
12 and 8.
Okay, they're perfect for this. We have an event. We have an event every Thanksgiving, which is a breakfast at the Bryant Park Grill with 1,300 first responder families, commissioners, and all these kind of great things. Ice skating in Bryant Park. The best part is a VIP Macy's Day Parade viewing under the balloons. On the police give us 6-7 blocks just for us. If you got to come so we can celebrate my birthday and your birthday
Let's
together.
set that up.
So now you got an invitation for me. Now I feel bad though because now we got your other friends and now you know
My birthday is November 15th, so count me too. I'm coming.
My new birthday is November.
It's a short, it's a good,
Really?
it's
Are
a
you
No,
it's a quick Amtrak ride for me.
no. My wife is November 28th.
Ready? Really? Well, she's a Sagittarius like me, so she's great.
Edges.
Sagittarius and you. So Freddie, even if they come, you're the highlight because you and
Oh,
I
I'm-
celebrate our birthday.
For sure. For sure.
All right.
Freddie, you got some-
looking me up.
Are
Freddie, you got
ready
some
for,
questions?
Are you ready? I will say, and he's probably going to preview this, but Greg was nervous for you about this part of the podcast, and he was
I'm
like,
sure he was. I said,
he was
Derek,
like,
I don't want
so
anything.
what kind of questions? And I said, listen, man, I said they're fun, they're lighthearted. We're not looking to embarrass anybody.
I'll be the judge of that, Freddie.
Or incriminate anybody.
So we like to do something called the turnout drill near the end of the podcast. 3 to 5 lighthearted questions that kind of make you think, off the cuff answers. So the first one that we've been doing kind of with everybody is what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Christmas movie. So hold on, just a minute. Yes, that movie, the one. Can we go to number 2 while I think
got-
about that?
It's got an actor in it. And
We
People-
absolutely can.
Christmas time.
Christmas, snow. Yeah, keep going. Let's go to the next one.
All right. So, one person, dead or alive, that you'd love to have lunch with.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say, boy, I'm terrible at this. Look at this. You're asking me questions.
okay.
I'm just like, I
Put on the
I can't
spot.
do it. I totally felt natural, and now I'm on this. Put me on the spot, and I need a
Right.
script. Yes. So many people come to life for me, but I would say, let's go to the third one. Well, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Let's. How about this one? This one's an easy one. You're given $10,000 to spend at any store. Where are you spending it?
You guys, these are great questions. I think I would go to London and go to Harrods.
Okay. I've never heard of it, but I
No,
believe you.
extrapolate.
Look it up. You look it up. Look it up. You're gonna see
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You Google searcher.
Would they have a shirt for Nick?
Definitely. I can dress Nick at Harrods. No question about it.
Oh,
I
bless
think-
his heart.
All
Nick,
right.
I want that hat. Whatever that hat is, you got to send that my way.
You got it.
All right. So being a CEO, I think this question, this right here is gonna. This is a fork in the road for a lot of people. Being a CEO, I imagine you get a lot of emails and phone calls and text messages. On your phone, are you a Redbubble notification person, or do you have to get rid of them? Like, can if you look at your phone, can you have like 30,000 emails and 15 missed calls? Like for me, I have to clear out every little notification, otherwise it gets in my face.
So this is interesting that you said that, because I missed an email on Friday that was very important and I drive my programming person crazy because he likes everything in folders. And when he looks at my emails, he gets panicked because I don't throw anything away and everything's everywhere. And it's just impossible to keep track. So now I have actually someone else second going through all of my emails so that I'm sure I don't miss anything. I have to finish my to-do list before I go to bed. So if they're like 20 emails that have to be answered and 20 phone calls, it's really hard for me to leave the office without doing that. So, so when you say red bubbles, is that a notification process? Because maybe I need to get that.
Yeah, like on your phone. Let's see.
I'm sure you
like,
have an app.
a little red bubble on my email.
Yes. Okay. So I have that all the time because there are unread emails back from 1997.
I'm sure.
that I probably have never read.
Oh my God, I have anxiety now.
Yes,
It's
bad.
terrible. And so do other people who try to deal with me. But we're looking at this and it's just tons of, so there are a lot of blue dots and I'll have to get to every single blue dot in the last 4 days if there's anything. But unfortunately, those unread ones back from, whenever that was, I started the email address, they're there forever.
Yeah.
Unless I have to figure that out. But if you want to, so Freddie, if you want to come to New York or anybody, one of you want to come and organize my life, I will take that. I will take it.
You don't want me.
I can't even organize my
life.
own life.
All right, last two, and they're either ors. Cold weather or warm weather?
Cold weather.
Oh,
She's in New York.
I'm from Minnesota.
Oh, that's right, Minnesota.
So I mean, when it snows, I don't care if it's 3 a.m. I go out there, I walk the streets of New York in the snow. I put on my cashmere, my hats, my whatever, my boots, and I wander around. They shut the city down, and I'm wandering around in the snow. I love that. I love fires. I like brandy things, port things you can sip by the fire. It's romantic, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. And then the last
Spread
one I
like some
got for you, and this one is a polarizing question. Pineapple on pizza.
Oh boy, you're not going to like my answer on this one. I'm going to lose you on this one, but I'm not a big pizza fan. I'm more of a pasta fan.
Okay.
However, I have had pineapple on pizza and it's not bad. It's just not
Not your thing.
not my sorry. And I live in New York, so
Yeah.
I don't have good
You've
pizza
got
here.
quite a bit of pizza there.
I know. But I'll take a good pasta over anything. You know what I like on pizza is basil. Is that weird?
Oh, it's so good.
Like that margarita kind of pizza.
Big old chunks of mozzarella.
Oh, that fresh mozzarella. All right, let's go back to your first two questions.
Yes.
All right. So, what's that romantic movie? That one, Four Weddings and a Funeral. I know it's not Christmassy, but I like the movie.
All right.
Okay.
Boy, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Also not a Christmas movie, but I love that film.
All right.
And who would you have lunch with?
Yeah. Who would I have lunch with? I would say, there's so many people going through my mind right now. It'd just be so interesting.
Yeah, this is a hard
be able
one.
to do that. It's a really hard one. But Benjamin Franklin comes to mind just because,
Started the fire
such
service.
a unique. Yep, there's that. Lived in Paris, had such an amazing life and brain.
Yeah,
So I would just say, yeah, Benjamin Franklin and I would
that's
have
a good one.
great lunch.
That'd be a good talk. Yeah,
Yeah, have tons of questions for him.
yeah, love it.
Awesome, guys.
Do I get to ask you who you guys would have lunch with?
Sure.
We've
That-
never had that. Sure.
No.
Absolutely.
The reverse turnout drill.
Yeah.
Here we go. Who is it?
Start.
Nick, who would you have lunch with? If you could have lunch with anybody.
He's like, ah,
Oh, I gotta go first.
crap.
I don't know. There's something about you. Because you're going to come and cook for me. I hear you're a really good chef. So now I got to.
Yeah, he is.
I just thought I tried to think of his name.
Dale Earnhardt.
Come back to me.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Passing to Nick.
Ross.
Oh goodness. Mine is dumb, but it's true to me. I want to sit down. He's still alive, so there's still a chance. I would sit down with Jim Carrey.
He's a listener. He'll probably catch that.
I love
is
Jim
that?
Carrey. I love Jim
Amazing.
Carrey. Because there's a lot of reasons. So I grew up watching his stuff. I love slapstick comedy. I think that laughing and joyful and happy, those emotions are everything about what life is. And so he brought that to me as a kid. And so even as an adult, he's had huge struggles. A lot of people don't know about his emotional struggles and anxiety and depression, all that, and how he turned to art about it. And his art is super eclectic and crazy and cool. And he did a commencement speech at a college. I can't remember which college it was. It was about an hour long, and he talks about his dad and how he was. His dad was very conservative and didn't do what he actually wanted to in life, and he still lost his job. So Jim Carrey's like, why, if you're going to be conservative your whole life and still lose your job, I mean, why wouldn't you take chances and do something that you love? And that's kind of like his message. And so I would love to sit down with Jim Carrey, just his transformation over the years too. He's got like a long beard and long hair now. He just like, he really struggled with who he was because he was such a good actor and he was so good at staying in the role that a lot of the times he didn't know who Jim Carrey was. And so I really admire that guy. And
I've got to see. I'm going to go and see if I can see his commencement speech now.
yeah.
Is it online?
Yes, it was a while ago too. It was probably, if I had to guess, 10 years ago or so. But it's a really interesting speech, but I dig it. So Fred, I'm popcorning to you. Remember popcorn when you were a kid?
Did I what?
Popcorn.
Eat popcorn? What?
You didn't play popcorn when you were in elementary school?
I'm sure I did.
Oh.
My guy would be Babe Ruth.
Ah, okay, good one.
I'll sit down with Babe Ruth. He was
George Herman.
George Herman, one of the best baseball players. Baseball's huge to me. I'm a huge baseball fan. It's one of my where I focus my mind. So that would be me. George Herman, Babe Ruth. Sit down, talk about baseball.
Yeah.
Probably have a cigar and a whiskey.
Yeah.
And then he'd go play a game.
A few whiskeys, yeah.
Yeah.
And hot dogs.
great.
I'm gonna go Doug.
So yeah, who's your team then? Who's your team?
My team, the Detroit Tigers.
The Detroit. Okay, got it. Okay.
I'm going the opposite direction. Sorry, guys. It would be my mom. I lost her when I was 12.
Oh.
Um,
Oh.
long before I was a first responder. But much of my childhood, she dealt with cancer. So I was always at grandma's house and because mom was always sick and whatnot. So I would love to talk to her as an adult and have a grown-up conversation and let her see where I am now and ask me a lot of questions about my life now.
Yeah.
I bet she'd be very proud.
Mhm.
I would hope so.
Oh, that's
You're
beautiful.
good, man.
I was hoping someone was going to pick a woman. I kind of felt bad that I didn't pick a woman. So, Doug, you made me feel
No.
much better.
It's Dana Lee. It's my mom.
Now, Nick, you have to pick a woman.
Lee.
Sorry.
Yeah, Nick, you got to pick a woman, for gosh sake.
I hate to disappoint you, but
Oh.
I'm kind of torn. Mine, it's my first choice would be Tim Allen, or
Detroit native. All right.
but if he was busy, it would be Jeff
Foxworth.
If he was busy.
If he was busy, I love that. If he was busy, if he was busy, I
like Tim because Tim Allen really was he reminds me of my father because one, he's like conservative, but he's like just straight, narrow, Mr. Fix-It, just relaxed, laid back. He's funny. He loves, the show Home Improvement. Me and Dad watched it a lot. And
Tim the Tool Man Taylor.
and he's a tool man in real life. Like he's really good with his hands. Like he does these Mr. Fix-It shows with Al Borland and all that. So he just reminded me so much of my dad. And I know my dad really enjoyed watching him. And plus he defied the odds when it came to Disney because Disney didn't want to hire him because he had, a DUI. He was a drunk. And I was like, hey, we got a lot of time. So
those are good. That's good.
There's one person drinking during the podcast, Jillian.
Oh my God.
Again, this is
If I didn't have to,
podcast.
if I didn't have to go to my son's graduation this afternoon, I'd probably have one too.
Yeah, if I didn't have an event, I get tired when I drink. So I got an event tonight. I can't. Otherwise, I'd be napping right now.
Right.
But
Yeah.
well, this is so. Wait, did we do everybody's? Okay, thanks for answering my questions. Those are good. I don't know who's Jim Foxworth.
Jeff Foxworth,
Jeff.
Foxworth. Who?
Blue collar.
Comedian.
Okay,
Blue Collar
Okay.
Comedy Tour.
I gotta look him. Okay.
Jeff Foxworthy, Billy Ball.
What was his
He had a
name?
show for a while too.
If you ain't
You might
this,
be a redneck.
might be a redneck.
might be a redneck, yes.
If you have an entire set of salad bowls that say Cool Whip on the side, you might be a redneck.
Right. That was his thing. Yeah.
That's good.
Well,
That's true. That's good. I like
This
Cool Whip, though.
was awesome. This
Yeah.
was great.
You
Jillian,
guys
thank
made
you.
my month. This is the best time I've had. It's been stressful around here. So you're just so fabulous. Whoever's in touch with Greg, can we get all your emails? Because I just want to have access to each of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to stay in communications with you guys.
Yeah.
Again, like we're doing Taylor's Tins this month. And,
Okay.
it's not going to be a lot. We're just getting off the ground. But if you see our effort, Jillian, all five of us put a tremendous amount of time and effort into this because when we get off of the podcast, we like all feel better and we'll start texting each other and we're like, man, that was so much fun. We loved, we love you guys. We have such a great time. And now that we're able to get you guys on board with us, I mean, it's just makes it like a 10, it makes it into a 20. And so we're super excited that you even took time to be on our podcast. We're super grateful for you. So thank you. Thank you very much. So everybody go
Yeah,
out.
we're- We're small beans. We appreciate.
Let me
you giving us
say,
some time.
you guguys you called, and I got on the phone, and the chickens and all that. It was like such a great. I mean, I've never had a call like that with any firefighter ever. So it was just who are these guys? We got it. Whatever that podcast is. I thank you, and also thank you for your generosity for the for whatever you're doing out there. And also, I do think you guys are terrific, and you should do your cookbook, and you should. So do we have you on? We know your social tags. Greg has all that information, right?
Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make sure
we
that
get
we
it.
do.
Okay. So we know how to tag you, and we know how to tag you on any of our posts and what we're doing.
Good. Yeah, and let us know if you're doing events in our areas. We'd love to.
I definitely will.
love
Definitely will. And let's do an event. Let's get a first
Okay.
responder camp going on or whatever you guys are doing. Keep me in touch with what's happening. And Freddie, you are invited for our Thanksgiving event. So you're all invited, but I
I'm
gotta
coming.
I gotta do
Yeah,
something
we'll have
special
to-
for Freddie.
I'm
We'll
coming.
have to touch base. We'll touch base.
Good. You should come. You should
All
come.
right,
Kids
very
will love
good.
it. Your kids will love it. So we'll make sure just circle back and I'll let Greg know. We talked about Thanksgiving. It's a great event if you're close for sure. And all right. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for everything. Please stay safe. And
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Jillian. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
right.
you. It is shift
Thank
change.
you.
So everybody
Go buy a 10.
go buy a 10. Taylor's
Cool
10.
Fireman
Support this.
10.
Support
Yay.
the foundation, the First Responder Children's Foundation. Jillian, it's been awesome. Thank you guys so much. And we're out.
See you guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Roll it, Gigi.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out thecoolfireman.com for more. Thanks!